Welcome to the Tamworth FC Social, a podcast about Tamworth Football Club. I'm Jonathan and I'm joined by Brett and Graham to discuss the win at Dagenham and much more besides. So Graham, let's start with that wonderful win on Saturday. I can't quite believe the run Tamworth are on. I think this feels, in terms of the league form, like probably the run of the season so far. What do you think?
Yeah, well, is it six games unbeaten at the moment? Yeah, pretty incredible run. I'd say that's probably in my eyes, it's like our best away performance of the season. To go to a place like Dagenham, yes, they're not in great form, but to go there to their own patch and kind of turn them over like that, I think it's just brilliant, really. Yeah, even to go 1-0 down, they had a decent-sized crowd behind them. And obviously, they'll say the sending off changed the game, but I mean, we obviously took advantage of that again, just like we did against Wealdstone at home. We took the game to them, and brilliant finish from Ronan Mayer. Creaney's obviously stepped up with a penalty and took it well for his 100th goal, and then we sort of got what we'd call a bit of a typical Tamworth third goal. Bobs off about 3 different heads and then sort of wiggles its way in. But at the end of the day, I think it's pretty comfortable by the sounds of it. So it's great, and to see that we got that cushion and 5 points off the playoffs. I'm not going to talk about the playoffs at all because I don't think we should even be talking about it. But it's still nice to see that in the position that we're in, and just brilliant, really. Hard to describe.
Nice to dream, though, isn't it? I mean, look at the league table; it's scarcely been this good. Nice as well, Brett. Like, I noticed after the Dagenham result, a lot of people on social media who aren't like Tamworth fans necessarily were talking about Tamworth, like saying how well they'd done this season. Like, it clearly a slightly noteworthy result in some respects.
Yeah, but I don't really think it was a massive shock. I said we'd win 3-1. And you only got to look at the run of forms that the two teams are on, and I don't think it is that much of a surprise. I think probably what was a surprise, if anything, was the way it took us so long to get going. I feel like we were probably matched for a good half an hour of the game. It was obviously the sending off that changed it, really. And I think that's the other good thing about Tamworth this year, is every time we've had a advantage, we've used the advantage. We haven't been one of those teams that the opposition goes down to 10 men and then we struggle to break them down. We make them pay. And I think what was equally more pleasing was the fact that we continuing to do well after losing a couple of players.
Yeah, it kind of went under the radar, I think, a little bit, that it was, the first game without Shakuna, and we said last time like how important his goals have been, Graham, and yet 3 goals on the road, another important kind of dent in that goal difference, down to -8 now, or up to -8 now, I should say. Like, it's a nice little bit of progress that's being made in that respect lately.
Yeah, definitely. With some of the good wins we've had lately and the amount of goals we've scored, almost turned it around with that. So it's really good that we've actually managed to do that, because I did think we'd struggle, to be honest. But I think with Shakuna leaving, it is almost like we've not forgotten, but it's once again that thing when if a player goes out, there's always somebody there to come in and basically take up the baton and do the same job. I guess sort of like from last season, probably not comparing it quite as much, because Jamie Jealous was somebody who's at the time, he was the standout player by far. But we all sort of said, "Oh, I wonder what's going to happen when Jealous leaves," and then somebody, kind of the team kind of stuck together and found other ways of playing and winning. So it's probably not quite the same comparison, but just in terms of the fact that I guess George Morrison just literally slots into that position as like kind of a shadow striker, and you don't really kind of notice the impact. And then obviously we brought in like Danny Waldron as well last week, so be interested to see what part he plays, whether or not he does sort of take up that position, or at times not sure if he can even play that position, but just be interesting to see that.
In the Dagenham game, of course, Dan Creaney notched up his 100th goal for Tamworth very quickly after getting his 99th, Brett. So clearly no nerves in terms of meeting the milestone from Dan Creaney.
Yeah, fair play to him, and congratulations to Dan Creaney. So last season we did an all-time Tamworth 11, and neither of us included Dan Creaney. And I made a comment where I said, well, he needs to do it in the National League for me, really, first, before we could think about putting him up there. Well, and he's more than doing it. Goal number 15 in a full-time league for a part-time player. And then to grab his 100th goal, credit to the man. And I think that just shows how important he's been over many years, over those years when we were down in the doldrums and no one was really firing. To now he's getting a chance to kind of show everybody what he's about. And he's got a lot of doubters, I think. As much as people love him, there are still people out there as well who criticise him. And I think he's done more than silence those critics this year. And that picture that the club put up of him Saturday evening with when someone passed him a pint, I think that's just the classic Dan Creaney Tamworth kind of relationship. And I'm really proud for him. It's good for him, and it's good for the club that the two have grown together the way that they have. But long may that continue for Dan Creaney.
I would say, Graham, Creaney is in legend territory for Tamworth now, and because you think 100 goals for a non-league club, that's got to be pretty rare. And you think the journey he's had personally, rising up the football pyramid as well. Would you agree on the legend status?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, before he even got to that goal, he was he's been with the club, 5-6 years is it now? And like I say, he's literally, when we were basically about to go down from the Southern League, he's come from there and risen with the team, and not just that, but even the season before that, and he's come through, and then he pumped all those goals to help us come up. And then it's the stuff he does off the ball as well, which I think you've got to give him credit for. But particularly this season, really seen it. But yeah, absolutely a legend. I mean, not many players get to 100 goals for a club, and as Brett said, the fact that he's been able to find that goal scoring touch in a full-time league with much better quality defenders, it just shows how much of a good player he is, and I guess how much he's improved as well as he's gone through the leagues. And yeah, it shows he's always had the potential to be playing in the National League. So yeah, I think it's a brilliant achievement, and he should be really proud, to be honest.
What do you guys think, or do you guys think he has kind of adjusted his game very much? Or because I'm just thinking back to when he played in the Southern League for Tamworth, like he stood out like very clearly as being very, very good, but not only for the goals he scored, but for his all-round play. I'm just wondering, what do you think he has done to kind of keep up with Tamworth's rise?
I think he knows the game that he wants to play very well, and I think he knows that, and the team around him know that so well. But what he doesn't do is not trying to compete for speed against other big, strong, speedy defenders. He picks his moment. He knows when he can go for the ball. He knows when he's going to win a ball, so then he'll go and try and win that ball. If he thinks he's going to lose that duel, I don't think he's not rushing to try and win every ball. He's not trying to get to absolutely everything. And then I think why Creaney is such a popular character is because he doesn't do bits like that. What he does instead is he helps out at the back. He's clearing balls off the line. He's punting balls away from corners, and he's latching onto things when he does need to drop that little bit deeper. So, and there's been times when he's not gone for the ball, when we've trying to play the ball forward quickly, and I found it slightly frustrating where you think, why hasn't Creaney come for that? Or he could at least put his foot on that or something. But he makes up for it in other ways that I think quite often just go unnoticed. And I think we're by far a better team when he's in the team because of the way that he commands the 10 men around him play and set up. I think while he's not the captain, or the vice captain, I think he's like a kind of separate kind of marshal, if you like, in his own sense.
I suppose what I'd say is that he's got a very strong work ethic on the football pitch, which kind of epitomises what Brett was saying, that he always gets back, that he chips in not just at the top of the pitch, but the other end of the pitch as well. And I guess that's kind of epitomises the whole of that team. But he's one of the kind of founders of that, really, with how he goes about his business and how he plays. I think he is something different that defenders weren't or aren't necessarily used to at this level as well. He's a bit of an old-fashioned striker in the way that he plays. So I think that's probably adds to it. And the way Tamworth plays, as Brett said, it always works to his advantage, and they know how he plays. The team know how he plays. So I think he's a different proposition. And I think that surprises teams. I mean, it's the same with some of the other players this season, like Shakuna, like Beck Ray. There's like a bit of a surprise element about him. Even McGlinchey as well, with some of the things he's done more recently. It's quite an instinctive nature to have a go, really, and play with confidence. So I think it's interesting how he has come to this level and found his feet. Because I think at the start of the season we all, well, I think some of us were kind of like, I wonder if we'll actually be able to be able to compete at the level, because it is such a step up. And I think he's proved everybody or any doubters completely wrong, and just wrote himself into the success books even more.
Just as I suppose a memory exercise for you both. So I had a little look back through, because Creaney's hit 15 goals now, and I make it that only 3 other Tamworth players have scored 15 or more goals in the English 5th tier, so be it the Conference or the National League and under its various names. Can you both, between you, name the 3 players, and bonus brownie points for you if you know how many goals? So Graham, do you want to have a first attempt?
Bob Taylor?
Yes, and how many goals do you think he scored in that season?
19.
Yes, very well done. Brett, 2 players remaining.
Adam Cunnington and he scored 21, of which about 1,000 were penalties.
Yes, Adam Cuddington and 21 goals.
What a memory! Look at that for a muscle memory.
That is good. That's good.
That is 25 points to me in the league, please, John.
Well, that means you'd catch up with me, so no. So those are the two most recent ones. So I make it Bob Taylor got 19 in 2004, 2005, and Cunnington got his 21 goals in 2012, 2013. It's one more player. Do either of you think you know it? I dare say you've probably both got a good thought of who this might be.
What was it and how long ago was it?
So it was the 2003-2004 season, which was Tamworth's first year in the conference.
Score cards.
Any advance, Graham, on Brett's answer?
I don't know if he scored 15. I can't think of anyone. No.
It was Mark Cooper.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, of course.
15 goals in the league that season.
Crikey. It was all the free kicks.
I dare say there was some free kicks in that tally. But, I mean, for a midfielder to get 15 in any level is exceptional. So Tamworth have been doing extremely well in the league this season. Had a couple of big FA Cup games as well. Brett, you want to talk about attendances, don't you?
It's really hard to not do this topic to death, really, because it's been heavily debated since I first started going down, I think. I personally actually think that the attendances that we are getting are pretty much bang on for the catchment area that we've got. I think Villa are doing very well in Europe. Blues are absolutely walking it. West Brom aren't exactly having a really bad season. I think out of the big clubs, the only one you could say that aren't doing well is Wolves. But have Wolves got such a big following in Tamworth? I don't think so. Walsall, obviously, I mean, yeah, they're not on a great run of form, but top of League Two. So we've got teams around us that are doing really well. And if you're a floating fan who just wants to go and watch football, there's plenty around that you can go and watch. I just think it is naturally where we are, unfortunately, which is why it makes sense for us to be part-time, because you look at it, we're by far the best part-time team in the country. And there's something in that. There is generally something in that. That is why we can compete at this level, because we're the best part-time outfit around.
Best part-time club in the country. You'll never sing that. Next up for Tamworth is another away trip. This time the Lambs travel to Gateshead. Not in the best run of form, has to be said, Gateshead. So Gateshead have lost their last 4 National League games in a row, but they are very prolific goal scorers in the National League this season. I feel like, Brett, this is going to be a very good test for Tamworth, given they are on a very good run of form, but Gateshead are, in the playoff race. So this is going to be a good sort of marker, really, if Tamworth's very good run of momentum can carry into a big away game like this.
Yeah, we're pretty good against Gateshead away. In fact, I think we're pretty good against Gateshead all the time. We've had some classics against Gateshead. Obviously, we've already got that win under our belt from October in the league. It's just a long way to go, isn't it? It's just so far. But why not? We're on an amazing run of form. You've only got to look. I was looking after the Dagenham game. We said it at the top of the episode before. We've got draw against Southend, draw against Oldham. We've got victories in there. We've got scored, 11 in 4 or 11 in 3, I think it is. Really, we're going really well. So, who knows? And you're right, it would be a good benchmark to see just how far we have come, because there's quite a gap between us and Gateshead.
Something, Graham, I'm sure will give Tamworth a lot of optimism is that Tamworth are good on the road these days. They know how to pick up points in away matches.
Yeah. I don't think we should go into this game with any fear. They've got a good home record, and they score a lot of goals, and they're one of the more entertaining teams in the league. But I think, just with the way we're playing and the confidence we've got running through the team, then we should go into that. And I think we can probably get a result there. I really do. I think it's the kind of game that's set up for us quite nicely. I don't think we go there with any pressure on us. Gateshead have got the pressure on them. They're trying to stay in those playoff places. So I think it's a bit of a free hit, really, to be honest. And I think we can go up there and kind of and turn them over. It's a good, I suppose it's a good kind of opportunity to see where we're at against one of the better teams in the league away from home. We haven't played a team sort of within that sort of top 5 away from home for a while. So it'd be a good sort of marker to see how far the team has come over the course of the season with playing Gateshead away. So I think we just go into it and we relish it. And our away form has been better. I think we played with probably quite a lot of fear away from home towards the start of the season. Now I think arguably we're nearly playing as well away from home as what we do at home. We're imposing our game onto teams, so I'd imagine that it will be a game where Gateshead have a lot of possession because they like to pass the ball. But I think we're always a threat, so I think we can get something out of it.
Should we do our predictions? And a reminder, in our mini league, it's 1 point for a correct result and 3 points for a correct scoreline. Last time out, it was Brett who got the 3-1 scoreline absolutely correct. And just as a little bonus, he said Tamworth would go 1 down and then come back. So many congrats. Graham and I also predicted a win, but neither of us got the scoreline correct. So that was 3 points to Brett.
I honestly thought I said 3-1. I didn't realise.
You tweeted, Graham, and I didn't have the heart to correct you.
I didn't realise until that point you just said that, and I wondered why Brett was like, I said that score earlier. And I've just realised that I got it wrong.
Good news, Graham, is there's always another week of predictions for you to remedy the situation. What that does to our mini league table: Brett moves up to 21 points, but in last place. Graham is on 28 and I am on 44. Gateshead predictions then. Brett, would you like to go first, as you were so accurate last time?
I will. I mean, we're scoring goals at the minute. We're also conceding. But I will go for... I'm going to be really bold, and I'm going to say we're going to win 3-1 again.
Interesting. Graham?
I'm not going to be as optimistic as that, but I think it's going to be an entertaining game, and I'm going to go 3-3. So I do think there'll be goals. So I think 3-3.
Goal fest on the way then. I'm going to go for 2-2. Similar reasons, really. Tamworth scoring lots, but on their day can concede as well. And Gateshead aren't exactly super strong at the back at the moment. I thought I was really bold going 2-2, but you've both outbolded me, I would say. Right, on that wave of optimism, we will leave it there for this episode of the Tamworth FC Social podcast. Thank you for listening. You can follow us on social media at TFC Social Pod. If you enjoy the podcast, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, goodbye.